All right, Savannah, we're back with the lightning round. And once again, I'm here with Paula Kreissler, the Director of Healthy Living and Community Development at Healthy Savannah, and Melody McCarthy, Content Coordinator for Enmarket. And they're here to talk about the 2018 Encourage Health Series, and also Healthy Savannah and Enmarket and everything they're doing for the community to help take Savannah to another level as far as health goes. But right now we're going to put them through the lightning round. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. And once again, short as long as you want to.
Okay.
And you guys can either piggyback, you can take turns, whatever feels natural. What did you want to be as a kid, and how does that relate to your current business?
Ooh, I had no idea what I wanted to be as a kid. I don't think I ever thought about it. But then as a teenager, I wanted to be an art teacher. And I actually got a degree to be an art teacher, and fell into kind of a marketing background, which has to do with art and kind of using graphics to entice people. And I think that's how it morphed into what I'm doing, and I love it.
And so I grew up on a dairy farm in the middle of the country in Missouri, and so I thought I just wanted to be a dairy farmer's wife and have 6 kids. But the universe had other plans for me. So I am not that, and I went to college, oddly enough, to a Lutheran Teachers College, so to get to become a Lutheran teacher, and I decided that wasn't for me either. So then I just kind of wasn't sure what I wanted to be after that, but I just knew what I didn't want to be. And but what has, kind of the cool thing is that folks that I met way back in those college years, though, were instrumental in me getting connected into what healthy lifestyles really meant. And so I will just say that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, you are teaching people. You are still a teacher.
I am.
You might not have, you have the community as your children to teach. So I think it can kind of blend into it.
There we go.
That's true. How many do you have kids now?
I don't.
Okay, no kid. Okay, so not 6.
A whole community of children to teach.
How have you approached failure in life?
You go for it.
Yeah, so, like I said earlier, really you just have to acknowledge it. And one of the most important things that I always say, and this is for everybody, again, it's going to go back to the teaching thing, is that one of the early things that I learned was fall on your sword. If you make a mistake, do not try to don't blame anybody else. The finger always comes back to you, because there's always something you could have done differently. So own it, and then make a plan to do it differently next time. Get up and go.
Yeah, and I think for me, I cry about it a little. I give myself some time to be upset. I think that's important for your mental health. Speaking of health, I think if you have the emotion of being upset about something, don't force yourself to not be. I think it's perfectly fine to have those 15, 20 minutes. But then, like Paula said, be honest with yourself. What steps should I do differently next time? And then make those corrections in your life. Yep. I think failure is something people are scared of, and I don't think we should be. I think we should use it as an opportunity to learn. Yep. I think everybody does it, and it's terrifying because it's such a negative word, but truly we all do it. And so why is it viewed as so negative?
Who influenced you early in life, and who's your mentor now?
My dad really, and people always say their parents, and my mom too. I want to exclude her because she's amazing. But my dad is so selfless. He does everything for everyone else and everything for his children. And I just really look up to that. And I think it made me kind of the compassionate but focused person I am, because he's that way. Very compassionate, but you would almost never know it because of how focused he is. So it's my dad for me.
And I think I would, for sure would say the same thing. My parents, it's a much longer story, but at different times really made an impact on who I am now. And now, it's, I really currently, and especially here in this community, I really would have to say Otis Johnson. If you haven't spent time with him and listened to him, and he's an amazing man, and he's such a visionary You know, I think I mentioned I worked at FedEx for 25 years. So Fred Smith, he was a visionary too, and so I appreciate him. And so my 25 years there allowed me to like grab a hold of that whole idea of being visionary about what it is that you're up to. And so Dr. Otis Johnson, our former mayor, he embodies that as well. And I just, he's really a wonderful asset for Savannah, has really made an impact, and I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to look him up. I haven't met him yet or heard anybody really talk to him, talk about him since then. What's something you consume religiously? So it could be like a TV show, a blog, a food.
Gosh, I have the typical millennial answers over here, but I'm like, anything reality TV is going to be consumed religiously in my life.
You and my wife can get along a lot.
So unhealthy. We're here to talk about health, but let's take a healthy path. I'm just going to like point out my favorite healthy food. I love a good like organic cucumber. There we go. Okay. I consume that all the time. Every day I have at least a little bit of a cucumber because it's my favorite.
And I'm just going to pile on there. I mean, I just I'll go two directions. One is that for me to kind of take some downtime, I love fiction, and so since I've been like 3, I've been a consumer of fiction, and way back when it was science fiction, and sometimes it is now, but really just good fiction books give me a good space. And the other part of that then is that just whole food, plant-based is I do. I mean, like I will, and so you're talking about a cucumber, I grab a whole head of romaine, I chop off the end, and because I like crunchy food, and so it's just like I will eat that whole thing.
See, Paula's so funny because she thinks her answer was so like, here's the bad thing in my life, the reading, which is still healthy for you, whereas my answer was the TV. Like, oh gosh. I'm never going to be invited to speak about health again.
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right. So going from that, favorite book or favorite book you read recently.
Okay, so I just finished reading several because I had some downtime on plane to and from Calgary, Canada. So I will just say it's The Woman in Cabin 10, and it goes a direction that you just don't expect for. It's like it is not the end, will not end like you think it's going to. Okay. And so it's The Woman in Cabin 10.
Okay. What is it about, briefly?
So there's a young woman who's a travel editor, and she's been given a ride on this inaugural cruise of a very boutique yacht. And so they have 10 cabins, and she's in cabin 9, and then there's a woman in cabin 10 who's there, and then she's not there, and it's all about what happened to her.
Beautiful.
So I'm not an avid reader. My mom always forced me to read. I was not a reader, but I have found an author that I love, and it's Dan Brown. So Angels and Demons, Da Vinci Code. Oh gosh, I eat his stuff up, and it keeps me so entertained. And I think it's the art thing for me. I read the books and I'm like, oh my gosh, I learned about that painting in school, or I know this about that. And so his most recent one that came out, Origin, I just recently finished it.
Is it pretty good?
It's great. It's about modern art, so it's a little different. And modern art was my favorite class in college, and so I was really into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so a couple more and we'll get out of here.
Okay.
Advice for entrepreneurial kids, or kids who want to be entrepreneurs or want to be little small business owners.
So I'm not one myself, but I have a friend who is 25, and he has like 3 different companies he started, and he truly inspires me. He's amazing. He works really hard, gets involved, but I think the biggest thing is have confidence in your idea. And going back to failure, have confidence in your idea and learn everything, read everything you can about what it takes to make that idea, to have it become a business. And then if it fails, work on your next project and learn from that failure. But most likely it's not going to fail if you're passionate about it. And I think it's confidence and learning from your failures. But
So I'm sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
it's okay. That comes from a place of not doing it, but watching a really close friend of mine do it. And
So what age group are you talking about in terms of young? Because, see, there's a lot of groups. So.
That's true. That's true. 18.
okay.
18,
Okay.
around 18, give or take.
So there's one quote that I found when I was working at FedEx that really made an impact on my life, and I just put it up on my bulletin board. And it's "Action cures fears." So don't get paralyzed in something. And so one of those actions, though, that you need to take as a young person with a great idea is to find somebody that is absolutely so if you're the creative, find that somebody to help you balance in terms of like making a business plan, looking at it realistically, and asking those hard questions, because that's like, you will fail and fail and fail if all you do is get creative and fail. You've got to have a creative idea with a business plan behind it. And there's actually down at the Small Business Assistance Center, Development Center, right down on Liberty Street here in Savannah, is that you can go in there and get free advice on opening your own business and what form that should take, and some of those key things that you really need to know, because you really need to know those things, because but you stay in the creative space, but find somebody that can help you with that whole business part.
I think it's also something to say that I've learned out of college, pretty freshly out of college. Networking does so much for any career, whether it is entrepreneurship or just anything. I mean, you might be nervous, because I know I was, but networking, people are just people. And so get out there and meet them, and they're going to have advice for you. I mean, I learn from Paula every time I speak with her. So I think it's just a really... I think that's
vice
important.
versa too.
Right.
I'm still learning.
Yeah. Paula learns about reality TV
There you
shows.
go. Right. Exactly.
Okay, so awesome. All right, so last question. Once again, here with Melody McCarthy and Paula Kreissler. Last question. If you had a superpower or ability, what would you choose and why?
Oh gosh, this is like a party question. Yeah, I want to say reading people's minds, but I don't think I want that at all.
Right.
I don't know, because that's a tough question. You want something. For me, and this is just looking at myself, it would be for a selfish purpose. I want to be able to hear what people are thinking, but really I don't want to know that. I want to be able to see what people are doing, but really I don't know. Maybe to fly.
There you go.
I don't want to fly.
Okay, so I might be stretching the superpower thing a little bit, but here's what I would want is to be able to do is to have plant-based food everywhere accessible to eat, and the people at the same time know that all the animals out there are their friends, and they're to be cared for and to loved, but not to be eaten.
Always tying it back to health.
Yeah.
I just want to be a bird. She wants to grow food for the community. Man, see, she's teaching me to think.
There you go. Yeah, both of us.
Selflessly,
Both of us. Whole Foods woman. Okay, so thank you guys for being on the show. So, once again, how can people find you? How can people get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us on Facebook. So I run our social media and content. And so please reach out to us on Facebook if you have organizations. Like us to follow what we're doing to encourage health and, all sorts of other things we do all the time. So that's on Enmarket's side, Facebook, our website. That's how you would get in touch with me or with Enmarket.
And it's exactly the same thing with Healthy Savannah. Just healthysavannah.org. There's a contact us form that you can fill in, and it comes right to my email. You can do the same thing on Facebook, but it's just much easier if you go to the website, healthysavannah.org. And but yeah, do definitely like us, follow us, all those things. We've got a lot of great content, and because there's a lot out there that's available that will encourage health.
Awesome. So thank you for being on the show.
This was so fun.
Yeah, I had a great time
Thank
too. It was
you.
good. Time went by a lot faster. Yeah. So thank you everybody out there for listening. Once again, this has been the Savannah Business Showcase. I'm your host, Taraz. And as always, go out there and do something impactful. Tell somebody you love them. Be the change you want to see in the world, and good things will happen to you. So I love you guys. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next week. All right, bye.
Awesome.